Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Rakuten Viber Roundtable at the GSMA WAS 13. Today we're going to speak about the role of over-the-top players in today's telecom industry. What we will try to do in the next 60 minutes is to create a discussion about how OTTs such as Rakuten Viber merge and affect the telecom market. For this, we gathered here today a team of senior experts to join this panel and to make it interesting and valuable for you. We will be focusing today on messaging and the voice markets, and each panelist will share his perspective on the subject. During the roundtable discussion, if you have any questions, simply click the chat button and write your question. We will do our best to reply depending on the time we have. So first, let's just quickly introduce our panelists for today. From MessageBird, joining us is Dan Richards, VP Connectivity. From Infobip, we have Kreso Zmak, Director of Products. And from Telecom Italia Sparkle, we have Zvika Caspy, VP Europe. From Rakuten Viber, we have my colleague, Shay, Senior Partnerships Director and in charge of our business messages platform. And myself, I am Matan Barth, Senior Director of Telecommunications and in charge of our SMS A2P and voice hubbing services. So again, thank you for joining us, and let's begin. We want to start with speaking about the messaging vertical and the SMS A2P market with you, Dan. Dan, you share a vast telecom experience working in some of the big brands in the industry. Tell us about your position currently and what is MessageBird is up to these days.
Thanks, Matan. Thanks for inviting me to be here today. So I'm VP of Connectivity for MessageBird. So I look after everything that's voice and everything that's messaging as those two channels roll up to me. So all of our vendor management, vendor acquisition, our connectivity footprint, our connectivity network reports up to me. I also have management of the wholesale businesses that we run on both of those channels. So MessageBird is a CPaaS company. We've been in the business since 2011. We have a number of APIs. Our business is making communications between brands and customers simpler, easier. We try to make conversations between brands and customers as natural as it would be for you to communicate with your family and your friends through your desired channel, whether that's SMS, voice, messaging, or we offer that omni-channel experience.
Thanks, thank you, Dan. Looking at our current A2P market and from MessageBird perspective, what are the major trends that you see today on the market?
Okay, well, the market is still in high growth, right? A2P is set to grow for the next few years. Really, it's digital transition as customers look to, brands look to adopt cloud technology. We've seen that digital transformation of people looking for alternate methods to communicate with their brands really accelerated by the global pandemic. And that demand for the omni-channel experience, people aren't visiting the high street store anymore, so brands have got to look for other ways to make that interaction with their customers as natural and as native as possible to their users. Obviously, monetization is still a big trend that we see out there with the filtering of the networks and the cost of A2P delivery increasing around the world. It's interesting from my perspective that we sit back and see where that tipping point is when the cost of A2P delivery reaches a point where people really are motivated to find another channel to verify their users and where that tipping point's going to be. Then obviously we've got the ongoing consolidation and acquisition, the M&A activity around the market is continuing trend.
Yeah, thank you. You talk about omni-channels and alternatives to A2P. Obviously, there's a lot of omni-channels, and they are involved the OTT players. How do you see the OTT players merge into the market, and what are the effect that they brought to the market?
the OTT, it's about really the omni-channel experience is giving an end user the communication experience that they want, okay, through their preferred channel. And the OTT is a huge part of that. You look at the younger generations that don't communicate via email, they don't expect to have to pick up a phone. They want to be able to look at their handset, choose the channel that's natural to them and interact through that. And it's typically an OTT where, Viber, Rakuten or others, they don't want a fragmented experience. They want to be able to choose the channel that they use and to have that interaction with their brand.
Yeah, well, maybe I would just add to that I think at the very basic level, OTTs are a big sender, are a big client for sending A2P messages just for their one-time password needs. So in that sense, I believe that's a one side of the industry, and obviously players such as MessageBird, such as Infobip, are playing a big part of terminating those SMSs for the OTTs. But I think at this angle, I think some of the OTTs have chosen to outsource their sending their OTP sending technology to someone else to send their OTP messages for them. And some of them, like Rakuten Viber, have chosen to be an expert in the telecom industry, and also deal and create their own connections around the world to be able to send A2P messages. MessageBird have been using Viber also as an A2P vendor. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've been happy to offer our connectivity to Viber, Rakuten Viber for some years. At the same point, we have high quality connectivity around the globe, but no one player has every single network connected, right? And we're more than happy to make use of the high quality direct connectivity that Viber Rakuten has been able to build. We're happy to have that trading relationship with Rakuten Viber.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you very much, Dan. And we are staying in the messaging department, and would like to move to you, Kreso, and talk about and continue talking about the messaging part. Noah, would you like to take this from here?
Sure. Thank you, Matan. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for everybody who came. So like Matan said at the beginning, my name is Noah. I'm managing the business messages in Viber in the past 5 years. So today everybody is well familiar with business messages and how important it is for brands. But we were, I think, the first to realize how important business messages is for our users when they want to communicate with businesses over the app that they anyway there all the time chatting with friends and families. I think it was 5 years ago. We can all agree it was a good catch, right? Since then we see a lot of from our competitors, a lot of messaging apps that joining this trend, let's call it, and offering business messages to their clients. Also, we can, needless to say, that even the Corona really pushed the ones that were still hesitating to do the same. So the digital transformation that we talked about many years now made a real progress in the past year. And the whole global situation basically forced even the smaller brands to adopt the digitalization. So today we have Kreso here from Infobip with us in the panel. So Infobip and Viber are partners in business messages since 2016. They were actually the first partners we had in business messages. They were brave enough to recognize the potential in business messages as an alternative to SMS and to emails, and offer it to their clients. I think since then our collaboration grew and expanded, from few customers to thousands, and from few markets to a lot of markets, especially in the past years. We also expanded our relationship to Southeast Asia, not only CIS or CE. So I think, Kreso, if you want to just say a few words about where we started and how do you see business messages in the whole ecosystem of Infobip. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks Noah for the introduction. Hi, I'm Kreso, Vice President Products in Infobip. And I started 5 years ago in Infobip as a product manager for Viber. Actually, that was my first job. And I recall we were super excited because already then, 5 years ago, so 2016, we realized the potential of the channels, of the Viber as the communication channel. Infobip is a global CPOS leader in this space, and we grew on SMS, and we were pretty, we identified the risk. Okay, if you introduce Viber, it's going to eat our SMS. However, what we realized very soon that Viber is opening completely new use cases, completely new doors, and it's growing really exponentially. So the engagement when you use a chat app is significantly higher than when you use SMS, let's say, or similar channels, or even voice. But it doesn't replace it, it extends, and the engagement of end users it's not measured even in percentage, it's measured in, in exponential rate. So it's X times the engagement rate. And, in marketing, for example, or in engagement, if you want to do 0.5 engagement increase, you need to invest a huge amount of money. This channel, Viber, provides a much more easier and efficient way to grow the engagement rate of end users. And what is important, all of you here, while we are speaking, most probably you are listening to us a little bit, but you checked your emails potentially, but you checked your OTT message app, Viber, being potentially one of the top ones that you have checked. So you check the messages there. So it is really natural that you start communicating with businesses how you're communicating with your friends and family. And that's how we actually, what we very soon realized, that it is natural that receiving a message within Viber would be super engaging for end users. And as Noah mentioned, so we grew from 0 to hero to few thousand clients, and we see a lot of engagement. We entered the CIS region, and our HQ is in Istria and Croatia. In this region, Viber is very strong. But last couple of years, we are growing significantly in Southeast Asia, which is a super growing market, with Rakuten being one of the strongest brands in the region. There, we expect even more growth.
Thank you, Kreso. If we want to review quickly business messages, a bit background, so we can say, I obviously agree with you, Kreso, that the purpose was and still is to allow the customers, our users, to engage more easily with the businesses via Viber, like they do with friends and families. And it really was a natural evolution, let's say. And one key factor that, a lot of people probably wondering, how is it affecting our users? So one key factor here, messages on business messages can be sent only to opt-in customers, meaning that business messages is not an acquisition tool. The messages are being sent only to brands, to the brand's database. We're not selling any information about our users, including the phone numbers. And then as a result, the messages are relevant for the users and they benefit both the users and the businesses that are able to engage with the customers, with, providing them with a lot of services among all type of messages. So if we're to review the type of messages that are available, the classic type of messages is obviously the promotional content, custom offers, coupons, even birthday celebrations or any loyalty program statuses. And also what we call transactional messages, which is more of a service, utility, notifications, balance updates. And then recently, it's not so recent, but in the past 2 years, we developed the conversational type of messages to even make sure that we're more relevant for the users and they find it more beneficial for them. And I'm talking about customer service, customer support. It's via Viber, it will be easier and faster. Then the users won't need to leave the app to contact customer support and not to make a call or to send an email, or God forbid, even to physically go somewhere. Nobody's doing it anymore. It's not even the young generation, also us and even my parents. And the Corona actually forced it. So it's not that they don't want to go, they can't go sometimes. You know, all the quarantines that we are all well familiar with. And then again, the Corona really pushed this engagement and digitalization faster. And what we introduced recently is actually a solution that will provide, let's say, 360 solution to the brands that wants to both communicate with their existing database and their clients and to acquire new clients. And I'm talking about bots here. Infobip, again, we're one of the first to adopt the Viber bots and to enter this to their user journey. Kreso, if you want to talk a little bit about it, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So I would go a step back. Basically, we started 2006 with an SMS aggregator, and I described then what we realized, and it was mentioned by Dan and Matan. There was omni-channel sometimes 2010, so where Viber actually fit excellently with the business messages. And what was the next step of evolution? Sometimes 2016, 2017, it was actually we entered in the conversational space. Again, going back to us here on the call, we are used to chat over Viber. We don't just receive messages, we also reply to those messages. So it is intuitive that you start having a conversation, not with friends, family, but also with the brand. And that's what is happening today. So we are in this age of conversational experience, and we see huge amount of brands adopting it. And if you are not adopting it, you should, because that is definitely the future. Where Viber, with its proposition with Viber bots, we call it conversations internally, it is offering the capabilities that you can first of all search for a brand within the app, and then start interacting with the brand. And then it's actually, if you look at the customer journey, the end user journey, from some engagement part and notifications part, now you have the tools that you can also support the client during the onboarding, during the support, which you have all the tools to cover the whole customer journey using let's say only Viber as the single application, and there is no need to leave the app. So which implies exceptional experience for the end user. It implies faster resolution time, because it is, usually the voice call centers are overloaded and so on, and you can do the call deflection to start chatting and so on. So there is a nice fit, and if you implement an omni-channel strategy, then really you can tailor the user experience in the best way. So conversations, either you put a chatbot, either you have a live agent talking. So this is how we are working today with Viber. We have Answers, our bot building platform, and Conversations, our agent panel, and we have Viber as the communication channel, enabling customer support use cases from one side, and then there is self-service selling use cases on the other side. Let's say you want to top up in a telco environment, you want to top up your bill, you want to purchase IPTV, you want to buy some additional packages, buy a new phone, and so on. You can do it over a chatbot, which is integrated on the Viber channel. The future, which brings where we see it already, it's the conversational commerce, and it is actually the movement that you wouldn't be leaving the app anytime soon. So that's the future. With introduction of catalogs, searches, then the advertising is coming. So that we see as the future for chat apps, where Viber has always been the leader. So we expect that they will keep the pace as partners. We expect that Viber will keep the pace and introduce and actually challenge us with new features that we are even not thinking. They did it in the history, so we expect the same to happen again.
Noted. We will.
Thanks, Kreso.
Just about COVID, just to follow up on that. So COVID, as Noah mentioned it, COVID unfortunately has driven or has speed up the digitalization. So I'm from Croatia. We for 25 years didn't manage to digitalize our economy. Now we did it in 2 months. So you can do everything online. And a lot of brands have adopted digitalization, where one of the key things is the digitalization of communication, where again, you can imagine how Viber and being it business messages, being it bots can help. But more importantly, talking with our clients, we realize that all of them think that this trend is here to stay after COVID goes away. So that's very important, because many brands realize the cost cutting and efficiency of having and adopting digital channels. So that's the most important thing, that after COVID goes, it will remain and it will be more and more used.
Yes, definitely. We're not expecting things to change back, to what they were before. I mean, we already advanced and we already evolved. So I'm guessing the tech and the industry is never going backwards in that sense. Okay, so we discussed about the conversations and the two-way conversations between users and brands on Viber, but of course that there is another type of communication that is done, which is actually the need of the brands to market their business, to offer promotions, and we see that a lot of businesses are using business messages to send these type of messages to their end clients. We see that they're able to manage their campaigns in a very, let's say, more sophisticated way, because we are actually providing a lot of tools to analyze the messages that were sent, and the brands actually have real-time, let's say, statuses of the message and what it did. If it was when it was sent, read, when users clicked the message, and in the bottom line, we can say that the brands can analyze the success of their campaigns, and what more important is that they can understand the ROI and plan ahead also the future campaigns. If we're just to talk about numbers a little bit, so we can we already understand that the behavior of the consumer has changed, shifted. We see that there was a research that actually showed that more than 71% of brands expect to communicate with users in real time. I think budgets were allocated according to these type of channels. We also know that a lot of shopping right now also shifted to online. I think the numbers shows that 52% are doing online shopping, which is a lot. And I'm sure again that the COVID has influence and pushed this to these results. In general, we see around 20% increase in time spent on the messaging apps each day. So the audience is there, the customers are there, and they're using the platform not only for messaging anymore, but to deal with all their other aspects in life. So it's a good opportunity to use for businesses to use this channel both for communication with their existing clients through business messages, as said, but also to acquire new clients via ads or the chatbots, like we also offering. And Matan, I think it's probably the best time to move on to the next topic that is actually giving us a full solution of the Viber products to the users. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Noah. Noah, you and Kreso discussed a lot about changing the experience of the user and increasing engagement by moving from a simple SMS to business messages and to messaging from the app to the business, from the consumer to the enterprise and vice versa. And lately, and I want to shift now and talk about the voice, and it goes naturally with business messages because we recently launched a beta product called Business Calls, and with the target of bringing the voice experience to the messaging experience we created. So in addition to the user being able to message the enterprise, we will from the app, from our Rakuten Viber app, the user will also be able to make a voice call, and also the business will be able to call back to the user on the app, increasing and changing the experience and increasing the engagement. And I want to Kreso, you said Viber is you mentioned that Viber is leading the industry. We were the first to start with the business messages. Now we are the first to start with the business calls. And I think we found a very flexible and fast partner with Infobip. And this beta product is now something we are offering with Infobip. And Kreso, well, please share a little bit about it from your perspective.
Yeah, sorry, I will just remove because I have like half of my head. Sorry for that. It's better like this. Yeah, sure, so we start. Yeah, I was missing half of the head, so. No branding needed. I branded first. Yeah, so we, and that's again part of the evolution of what I was mentioning. So voice is today still very, very important in many countries globally for the customer support, mainly use cases. So having, as I mentioned, so Viber business messages with notifications, that's one part of the customer journey. Then it comes Viber bots, which is closing the whole customer journey, including the customer support. And voice being very important during the customer support, and really for escalations and fast solving problems, all of us on the call will choose to go with voice. And they have the possibility that while you are chatting, you're able to press a button and get on the call. It's really exceptional. So it is complementing or closing the whole ecosystem that really you have all the tools necessary to provide the best quality of service to your end users. We see a lot of engagement. I have, as we speak, I received 2 emails related to Viber voice to potential clients. So it is very interesting. As voice is one of the biggest one of the biggest channels still out there on the market in customer support primarily.
Thank you, Kreso. I think maybe if I elaborate a little bit about what business calls is, essentially we have a consumer chatting with the business on the Viber app using the business messages, and at the one point in time, this user may want to take the conversation to the next level, move to voice, because as you said, Kreso, voice is a better communication channel when you want to pass complex messages and you want to solve problem fast. Obviously, everyone likes to chat, but from time to time, we all need to make a voice call. So with a very, very easy click to call button on the chat screen that Viber is offering, a user will move from the chat to the call experience with the business he's chatting with. So a very intuitive transition from chat to a voice call. In addition, we will be able to create two call buttons. One call button if you want to talk with the customer support, and another call button if you want to talk to the sales. Obviously, we also allow enterprises to call the user, so the user is available on the app, and the enterprise will call the user. Another very good thing that we are able to do is to show the user the waiting time on the call center. So the user, when user is on the business page on the Rakuten Viber app, and he wants to make a call, but he see that he may wait too long, like for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the call center is very busy and it's not a good time to call the call center, then so the user for once can see the waiting time. And in addition, the user will have a button to request a callback. So the enterprise will get a notification that there is a user who wants to be called. And later on, when the agents are free on the call center side, they will call the user back on the Rakuten Viber app. Now, once on the call, the user and the enterprise can share screen and can share information in parallel to talking, can share information on the chat screen, and can share screen, can share files, which is very, very helpful when you talk to a business, when you talk to a call center. So that's another great thing that we're offering on the business calls. In addition to that, at the end of the call, the enterprise can pop up a service level survey to the user, asking him, how are you happy with the service you get? Do you have any recommendation? Do you have any complaints? Also, the enterprise can choose to pop up a survey, an additional offering additional services to the one that were already discussed. So this is, from our perspective, a full experience the messaging and the calling experience get a new way of doing things between enterprise and users by using a smart OTT app. Looking at the perspective of the industry of this, I think the industry is still not there when we talk about the voice. And from the messaging part, we've been there first, as Noah mentioned and as Kreso mentioned. We've seen other players following up our steps. So, and now it's very popular to see enterprises using OTTs as a communication channel. And what Rakuten Viber is trying to do is to lead the industry with new products. Kreso, do you want to add anything else? I think we have Kreso freezed. So yeah, so until Kreso is back, I think we're going to, okay, so there is a technical problem on Kreso's side, and we will continue to talk about voice with you, Zvika. Zvika, maybe just introduction of yourself, please, and your company, and then we'll continue the discussion.
Okay, good day, everybody. Thank you for inviting me here. My name is Zvika Caspy. I'm managing the region of Wholesale Europe for Telecom Italia Sparkle, which is the wholesale arm of Telecom Italia Group. We are concentrated in the wholesale, and we are market leaders. We are in the top 10 on all the products, including the voice products, IP data, mobile service, and enterprise solution. So I'm very happy to be here to describe also our evolution of the relations with Viber from a pure customer for termination to a partner.
Yeah, thank you, Zvika. Looking at the voice market specifically, and you know, you've been in this voice market for so many years, and we've been working together for many years. And looking at the voice market today, what are the trends and the major things happening nowadays on the voice?
Of course, you cannot avoid on the voice market, you know, I'm hearing that the voice is dying for the last 20 years, so it's dying, but slowly, okay? So nobody would expect in 20 years ago that the voice will still survive as it is today. So there is a market for the voice. Of course, there's natural decline because of the OTT penetration. So as a traditional voice, but still they are very important element of our business industry, margins, etc. And therefore, for us, the best formula is to work well with the OTT, because at the end of the day, we have to target the end customer, which is making the call, and it doesn't matter which platform he's using. We need to terminate the call all around the world. So put aside also the COVID effect, in a way, had hurt a lot the roaming industry. Nobody of us is roaming any longer. So this was another negative effect on the voice, wholesale voice industry for the international one in 2020. Hope we will recover on the second part of 2021.
Yeah, definitely roaming is expecting a recover with the airlines and all the players that enjoy people traveling. I think on the other hand, we also see that calling is still there, and there is a lot of, I think, you know, when people in quarantine and people can't travel, they call more. And I think we've seen that. I think Rakuten Viber and Telecom Italia Sparkle have shared their routes, their voice routes with each other along the years. And similar to similar to the way we've done on the SMS A2P. We in Rakuten Viber, we've taken our voice routes and shared them with the industry, and we create a very, very good partnership with Telecom Italia Sparkle. Both of us, both Rakuten Viber and Telecom Italia Sparkle, are a big player in North Africa and the Middle East. We've been able to partner together with the local MNOs in the Middle East and offer them our services, and we've seen a very nice growth in that region. Zvika, would you like to maybe share a little bit more about our cooperation together?
Yes. I'll go back for 2015. We started together. We just provide the termination for Viber. So it was one-sided, the flow of the traffic. Where today, from our perspective, Viber is a wholesale player like any other players in the market. Call it Orange, T-Systems, AT&T, etc. So we don't distinguish. And the traffic is really bilateral. We identify, as you said, joint corridors, which are win-win for both parties. And if they are win-win for both parties, for sure they are win-win for the end customers. So we identified special deals and routes in North Africa, in the Middle East. And basically, I think we are providing very good service to these countries through our mutual relationship. And as you said before, we don't foresee the OTTs as a threat or as a competitor. For us, it's a partner, and we would just want to expand more and more our relationship with the OTTs, because you cannot ignore the underlying asset, which is the end user platform, which is using to initiate the call.
Yes. Thank you, Zvika. You mentioned looking at Rakuten Viber as a partner. I think it's getting. I think our position is getting even stronger nowadays, as Viber is not longer just Viber. Today we are Rakuten Viber. We are part of a very big group, a very big Japanese group called Rakuten. And lately, this group has done a very major step in the telecom industry by creating the fourth MNO in Japan, called Rakuten Mobile. This step of the group is, for me, as the one in charge on the telecom side here in Viber, is really, really exciting. I think it gives us new opportunities. We are blurring the borders. We are now not just an over-the-top player. We are also an MNO player in Japan. And obviously, Rakuten Telecom department is excited, and obviously the first channel to go when you want to connect to Rakuten Mobile. In addition to that, the European Union lately came in and asked voice over IP players to be a registered telecommunication provider in the European Union. So now we are in a process of being a registered telecommunication provider in the European Union. And the first country, interestingly, the first country that we are registered in is Italy. And we're going to be a registered telecommunication provider in all the European Union countries. So now I think Rakuten Viber is now not only an outsider bringing the users and the app to the experience. We are also a player on the telecom market, and also can provide infrastructures and connections to MNOs in the industry. So I think at this point we are free to take questions. And Noah, do you want to refer to one of the questions?
Let's see what we have. I think it's a question regarding the last topic you discussed about, Matan, and not really about business messages. If
okay, let me see.
Read the message. With some networks, all CS services and other networks launching as LTE only or G5 only, is Rakuten Viber an opportunity for operators without wallet and roaming for customers onto those networks?
Well, yeah, I think, well, obviously, in case of the Rakuten Mobile, we definitely will be able to help connect to their 5G network. So the answer is yes, and I think and I think we will help Rakuten Mobile a lot with their international needs for both messaging and calling, and bridge the gap, if there is any gap, between their advanced technologies and the current technologies today in the market. Waiting for more questions.
I don't see more questions in the Q&A section, but we do have a few questions that sometimes we get asked in webinars. So maybe I can address one, very subjective. I will choose this one. So sometimes we're being asked what are the advantages of business messages in comparison to other the alternative, the emails, SMS, etc. So I think it's already I can say that there are a few things that are basic in business messages. First of all, it's very clear that the way the message is arriving to the device of the customer is different. It's about rich text. It's 1,000 characters in one message. We don't need to split the messages. It can include buttons, CTA buttons, links and images, everything in one message. One advantage, obviously, is the business model. Unlike the competitors, the charge is only per the delivered message, not for everything that was sent. And then go back to the real-time statuses. So there is a callback for each status. If the message was arrived or not, if it was blocked, if it's not a Viber user, and then it gives really a full solution for the business that wants to ensure 100% of his database receive the messages, because the way we work with Infobip and with MessageBird and with all our partners is a fallback SMS, which means that first we're trying to send the message over Viber. Then if there are internet issues, the message can't be delivered, or if it's not a Viber user, then there is a fallback to SMS that ensure 100% that everyone on the database will receive the message that the brand meant to send, even if it's not on Viber, but the alternative, the SMS fallback. So this is really a key advantage. And of course, all the other advantages that including the separation of the messages type. So we consider transactional message as the messages that not including images, for example, that they're more plain text. And as such, the price is different. Then again, it helps to control, maybe to manage the campaigns better, the ROI of the campaigns. And this is for the basic advantages. I think there was also another question that sometimes repeated regarding how secure is Viber, how secure are business messages. And I think it's also a very big topic to touch and maybe to review here. We have a lot of clients from all types of clients that are sending business messages, also banks and financial institutions. It's secure. Obviously, they're sending content that has to be secure. So we are encrypted. When we are integrating with the partners to our servers, we are actually whitelisting a very limited number of IPs and not domains for business messages. It's a very important method. Our connection servers and with the partner servers also secure, and it's HTTPS only for the businesses and for the customers. Nothing is shared or stored in Viber servers once it's delivered. We also are not exposed to the content of the messages. And most important, I think, especially according to the last updates we heard from a few other messaging apps, we're not selling any customer information, data, or phone number or anything to anyone. And I think this is also a very important topic that also came to the front after the COVID outbreak. We saw a lot of privacy issues, and we really wanted to stress this for this reason. I think this is it from my end, Matan, regarding questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Noah. Thank you for elaborating more. We're very close to finish our roundtable, and I want to say that we will be very happy to continue the discussion and answer questions from anyone. So I'm going to share now our contact details. So if you want to reach out to us, please feel free. Okay, just a second. Yeah, okay. So here it is. Here is our contact details for anyone who wants to reach out later after we finish this session. I want to say thank you very, very much first to our panelists, Dan Richards from MessageBird, Zvika Caspy from Telecom Italia Sparkle, and Kreso Zmak from Infobip for joining us and sharing your experience and your ideas about OTTs. It was a pleasure, and it was very interesting, if I may say. I also want to thank anyone who joined us here at the roundtable in the GSMA WAS 13. Thank you very much for joining, and feel free to contact us via email or via our phone number. You can obviously send us a Viber message or call us. I'm very excited about this, and thank you very much. And I really hope to have the next roundtable in a face-to-face hall where everyone is there healthy and happy. So thanks again, and see you soon face-to-face very soon. Take care.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.